Okay, I've got my soldering iron is heated up and in the stand, and a nice damp sponge that I've moistened under the tap. My helping hand is ready. I've got my printed circuit board or PCB and my first component, which is the 220 ohm resistor. I can check it's the correct one by looking at the colours, and it should be red, red, brown. So the first thing I'm going to do is to flip my PCB over and look for the place where I'm going to put this resistor, which is in R4, and very helpfully printed on my PCB, I'm get it in focus, is R4, and there's our resistor symbol. Now we know that resistors don't have any polarity, so it doesn't matter which way round in the circuit I put it. So I'm going to poke one leg through that hole, bend the other leg over and put it. And I'm going to pull it until it's sitting as flat as I can get it onto the surface of the PCB. Now I'm going to have to turn my PCB over so that I can do my soldering. So bending the legs a little bit so that it doesn't fall out again is going to be really helpful. And then I'm going to put it into my helping hand so that it's nice and steady. So I'm going to hold my soldering iron in my writing hand, just like I do a pen, but remembering that this metal part is really, really hot, so I'm not going to touch that. I'm going to wipe off any excess solder on my sponge, so I've got a nice clean tip. I'm going to take my solder in my other hand. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply my soldering iron to the solder on top of the pad. Just hold my soldering iron on there a couple of seconds so that the solder melts nicely. Using the flat side of the soldering iron up against the solder and the leg of the component just helps the solder flow. Going to make sure that's nicely melted. And remember, we're trying to cover the pad and let the solder go up the leg a little bit. Let's see if I can show you like that. So not too much solder, just covers the pad and just goes up the leg like a little volcano. We're not going to trim the legs off just yet because we want to wait until we finish the circuit and we know it works, everything's in the right place, and then we can trim the legs.